from the Mumbai Fire Brigade. Of course, at that time it was called Bombay Fire Brigade. And 66 firefighters, officers and men, lost their lives. So in commemoration of their dedication and loyalty to service and in line of duty, every year 14th of April is celebrated as National Fire Service Day, and also throughout the 7 days thereafter, that's from the 14th to the 20th of April, we have National Fire Safety Week. Now, what is the purpose for having this National Fire Safety Week is very important. You see, today's society is so progressive that it's not just the firefighters from the fire department who need to know about extinction of fire. You're in your house, a housewife needs to know that if something happens, what is she to do? Somebody at a business place, at a place of professional work, in case there are office files, documents, computers, what is to be done in case of a miniature hazard? You see, many a time we have a major fire because no one really knows what to do when the fire starts small. All fires start small. They are called incipient stage fires. Now, when you have an incipient stage fire, anyone who is witnessing such a fire ought to take an immediate remedial measure. Now, when I say remedial measure, I mean use the closest and nearest fire extinguishing equipment. So the question is, number one, does that place have any equipment? Second, if that place has equipment like what you see before you, does the person seated there or who's present there, does that person know how to use the equipment? The third thing is, as you see there are different types of fire extinguishers, then which extinguisher are we to use on what type of fire? These are the basics that we need to know when we are involved in a situation where there is it's something very minor. But because of our lack of knowledge, this minor event turns out to be something major. So I would not like to take too much time. There's just a few things I'd like to share. You must have heard about the Bistro fire in Bombay that took place just recently. What about the KTC bus stand fire? Why were people not aware that someday, sometime, something can happen? That wiring systems in many places are out of context. They are outdated. They are exposed. There are so many factors that could lead to an uneventuality. So as a result of which, this week is a week of creating fire awareness. So when we move around, we expect, because you see, when you are at a certain place, it would take a certain amount of time for the fire services to arrive there. Given that there is no traffic jam also, yet we cannot be there at a place which is 5 kilometers away in 2 seconds. So until the time we can reach that place, the people themselves have to become first responders. So you respond until we come. Then in order to respond effectively, you need to know what is to be done. Therefore, this little exercise on basic fire safety. Now, the first aspect, I'd like to move on to the next slide. Fire is just an acronym where when you see a fire, say you see a fire from a building behind another building. So what you do, you pick up the phone and you phone the fire services. Sometimes it's just a rubbish bin fire and you think a building has caught fire. And actually somebody is burning rubbish. Actually there was no need to call the fire services, because in doing so, you have called the fire services there for no rhyme or reason, when actually some other place, something else more vital has happened, wherein the fire services is expected at that place and they are not available. And in next day's papers it's shown fire services available extinguishing a rubbish bin fire, whereas they are not available at, say, an LPG gas cylinder fire. That's because one person has, without verifying, called the fire services there. So the main aspect in this find means go yourself. If there you see smoke behind a building, go behind the building. Check it out. See what type of fire it is. Then once you find that yes, the fire services are required, you inform. Who do you inform? Answer, the fire services. After that, you restrict. Now to restrict, obviously you need something. Therefore, it is vital. Now in our country, just like other countries, we have to be on the go. We can't be just idling away time or just hoping that somebody else will do the job. Everybody today is very savvy of so many things that are happening in the country. So why shouldn't we be savvy about fire? Then in that case, to restrict, you need to have equipment at every given point. In marketplaces, you need to have hydrant systems that are working. Do we have them? If we do have hydrants, are they working? Have the municipality got these places effectively protected? Because so many times you see Mapsa market fire. One shop to another shop to a third shop to all the shops in that line. What is the problem? Answer, lack of fire safety awareness. And of course, last but not the least, using the equipment for extinguishing that fire. So therefore, these simple things, very often we think the fire is a very hi-fi thing. It's not a very hi-fi thing when it starts. When it starts small. It's something understandable to anybody. These days in schools, there are chapters in textbooks about what is fire, what are the types of fire. And the children are much more aware than we were when we were in school. So let us go to the next slide. What is fire? Now, not everybody is a person of science. Therefore, I wouldn't like to go into the scientific aspects of fire, but basically what does one need to know is what is fire, how is the fire created? That basically we have three things. We have heat, if you see the third line, heat, fuel, oxygen. Unless you have these three elements, you cannot have a fire. Very important. These three are very important for any fire to take place. Unless you have all three inherent or present, you cannot have a fire. Therefore then, we go to the next slide. We understand this as the triangle of fire. That in a fire triangle, in any circumstance, you need to have heat, fuel and oxygen. Thereafter, what is important? That we don't need to focus on all three elements. In order to extinguish the fire, you have to focus on just any one of the three. Look at the last line at the bottom. If you take away any one of these, the fire will be extinguished. So now, how can we understand this? We can understand this in terms of effects. Let us see what are the effects in terms of heat, fuel and oxygen. First instance, when there is heat, you need what is known as cooling. Now, how can I understand all this heat, cooling? Take a classroom instance. I always say, this is a school. Classroom instance. There's a child during the break time eating his tiffin in the classroom. Other kids have gone out to play. The teachers have gone to the staff room for their cup of chai. The little student is sitting on the bench. The chowkidar or the watchman passes by or the peon passes by, and incidentally that person happens to be smoking a cigarette or a bidi and happens to throw the lit cigarette or bidi into the newspaper basket or the dustbin in the classroom, which contains paper. What happens? Very soon the paper catches fire. And once the paper catches fire, the student does one thing. There are no extinguishers in many schools and in many classrooms. So what the student does is, very naturally, the student takes his or her water bottle and takes the water from the water bottle and pours the water on top of the paper and extinguishes the fire. That student is a firefighter already out of uniform. And what has that student done? Eliminated heat by cooling water. So have you got the idea? What What is cooling? So we go to the next instance of fuel. You're all sitting on chairs. Are these chairs combustible? Can they burn? Is the question. Answer yes, plastic. Suppose one chair was to burn. Can anybody lift a burning chair with their bare hands? Answer no. Then what is the next best thing to be done? What is the next best thing that we could do? It is to lift the other chairs surrounding that one chair that is burning. So what you do is starve the fire. The fire has already got hold of one chair. It is devouring one chair. It is hungry for some more chairs as food. But what you do is you isolate. Therefore, in other words, you starve the fire. You take away the other chairs. That is the second effect, where fuel. Now when I say fuel, some of you must be thinking, how did I say fuel, chairs as fuel? Let me tell you, fuel in the ideal sense of the word is not just petrol, kerosene, diesel. These are oils. That fuel is anything that can burn. Instance, the tablecloth that you see before you, the table underneath, the chair on which you are sitting, or anything that is combustible, anything that can burn is fuel. So ask yourself the question, can this burn? If yes, it is fuel. Then, third aspect, oxygen. This is a very difficult factor to understand. That in order to eliminate oxygen, now oxygen is in the air everywhere, we breathe in the oxygen that is in the air, without which we cannot live. So what can we do in such an instance? In such an instance, you apply the effect of covering, blanketing, smothering. Now you wonder, what is this covering? Where can what bed sheets can I put in the air? That in very particular instances, now we'll see one instance today over here when we do a practical. Because let me tell you, theory is only 20%, practical is 80%. Very vital. You may have an understanding by the book, but unless you carry out that understanding, you will not know the experience of what it is. You can look at a person riding a scooter, but unless you yourself get onto that scooter and know what are the difficulties, you will not understand what it is to ride a scooter. So what I'm trying to say is, practical is very, very necessary. If this lecture were to be completed without a practical, it is a zero lecture. Because nobody has gone home knowing anything by using any of this. So it is time, high time that we become aware that we need to not only have the knowledge which forms the foundation, we need to act upon it too. That's very important. I will explain this third factor when we come later on, at a later stage in the lecture. I will explain this certain aspect of covering. Now we go to the next aspect. Whenever you're fighting any fire, as I said, you focus on only one. Just like the boy in the classroom, to eliminate heat, he used this water bottle. Here he has done just that. He has not known the scientific principle behind his dousing the fire or extinguishing the fire. But this is what he's done. He's eliminated heat by using water. So he has, what have you to do in case of a fire? Break the triangle. Very essential, break the triangle. Unless you break the triangle, the fire will continue. So there is a friendship between three people. I'm not trying to say that I'm encouraging breaking friendships here, but when it comes to danger, fire is a friend, very good in the kitchen, but it can turn into an enemy. So when it becomes dangerous, then you've got to break the friendship. So here it is heat being eliminated. The triangle, it's no longer a triangle, it is an angle. So this is an important aspect where heat is concerned. Let us see the aspect of fuel. Sorry, the aspect of oxygen. Move on to the next slide. The aspect of oxygen, where oxygen is being eliminated. Yet again, in this instance, you see that the triangle has been broken. This is no triangle at all, this is an angle. And in the third instance, where fuel is being eliminated. So, you don't have to attack all three, you have to attack only one. This is vital while fighting fire. Now, the next question, are all fires the same? You read every day's newspaper. Do you see the same type of fire occurring again and again? You may have have a forest fire, you may have a laboratory fire, you may have a chemical fire, you may have, for instance, in an industry, an industrial fire. And most of all, you have electrical fires, short circuits, and you have LPG fires, leakages, which lead to fires also. So, since we have many types of fires, we need to have different classes of fire. Just like in a school you have class 12A science, class 12B economics, class 12C something else, class 12D arts. In the same way for fire, since all fires are not the same, we need to categorize or classify fire. We need to have A class. What is A class? Let's not go into the chemistry of things. Everybody is not into rocket science. A class fire pertains to burnable solids. You study in the 8th or 10th standard that matter is in 3 states: solids, liquids and gases. So this is an example. A class solids: paper, wood, simple plastic, cloth. These are simple examples of A class fire. So what would B class be? It would be combustible. Let's have it from you. Come on, respond. Everybody's quiet. If A class is combustible solids, what is B class? Combustible liquids. Very good. So let's go to B class, combustible liquids. When I say combustible liquids, I mean petrol, kerosene, diesel. Specifically in this case, petrol pumps. Now I come to the point. When you have to exclude oxygen, let us take the first case. Can we use water on petrol? Number 1, it's immiscible. They don't mix. And number 2 is petrol is lighter than water. So obviously when you have petrol, you would have vapors, petrol vapors and the oxygen. So as long as you have the vapors and the oxygen supply, the fire will carry on and on and on. So what do you have to do? Break the friendship, break the triangle. You put a blanket, not the blanket you cover with at night, but you put what is known as a foam blanket. Today we have before you different types of extinguishers. I'll come to that when I come to foam. What is foam? It's simple. You get up in the morning, you take the cake of soap in your hand, and what do? You rub the cake of soap on your palm, on the palm of your hand. Why do you rub it? In order to get the lather or a foam. But that foam is only meant for your face. It cannot fight fires. So you have a special type of a concentrate foam which helps to fight fires. And that covers the lightest oil, that is either petrol or kerosene or diesel. And it covers the surface and cuts off the friendship between the oxygen in the air and the petrol vapors. So there comes a point of time when that fire will be extinguished. This is what we do for petrol pump fires. So this is the case of isolating oxygen. Come to the C class. Just as you have combustible solids A class, combustible liquids B class, combustible gases C class. Plus, let me tell you, this class also covers electricity. Very important. Gas and electricity are 90% of the fires that occur all over the world. So this is a very vital class. It is C class. There is a D class, but it pertains to basically industries where there are specific metals like zirconium, magnesium, aluminium, etc. But since we are in our daily lives, we are more contained to this basically the A class and the C class. Therefore, today's exercise will be a demonstration on that, where you yourself will come forward and use the extinguishers. And you will come to know how heavy it is, how easy it is to operate. You will find that even you can lift the extinguisher with 2 fingers. So, and an extinguisher needs to be lifted by only 1 person, not 4 or 5 people together. That's another factor in fire safety. So as you see, the C class, and then we have a D class, which is, as I told you, magnesium, zirconium, sodium, potassium. These are special types of metals, which if you use any of these types, there is a reaction. So therefore that type has a special type of ingredient or a media called a monoammonium phosphate base. That's also a powder, but that is basically meant for industries. Now at Pillai fire station, we are there specifically for the So this is the structure basically of classification: A, B, C and D. Basically, C class is the class that we need to be more aware of, because that happens very often. Now, in the next slide, you see the names of the different types of extinguishers we have here. These are now, these days, let me just tell you, these days we have done away with the old method of extinguishers where you have to hit the extinguisher. You must have seen the extinguishers in previous years. They had to literally bang the extinguisher on top, on the knob. Now that system has been done away with, and the older lot of fire extinguishers had cartridges inside the extinguishers. No longer do we have cartridges in any of these extinguishers. So the operation is very simple, with the exception of one particular extinguisher here. The other three extinguishers have just one simple operation. Now listen very carefully. All you need to do, there's a little metallic little piece over here. You will see when you go outside, there's a small piece here. You need to break it. Just with the twist of your two fingers, you can break it. And after that, what you need to do, there's a pin. It's called a safety pin. Reason why safety pin? Sometimes in schools you have children who want to, be a little mischievous or play truant. So what they do is, no teacher, no student, bang, and they run. Now when that happens, everything inside will come out. Nobody knows that it's become empty. And the peon passing by, he sees that, why is this extinguisher on the ground? He puts it back on the place where it was, not knowing that some student has played truant. And it's on the wall, nobody knows. Teachers are walking up and down, students are walking, it's empty. And when an actual fire takes place, and somebody takes hold of the extinguisher who knows how to operate, there is nothing inside. Therefore, the safety pin. Actually, they have a guard also. These extinguishers, the guard is not being put